Welcome to the One Nation Under God Bible Study. I'm Raymond Shee, a Christian, an author, and an educator who has experienced both tyranny and freedom firsthand. I was born and raised in China. As a child, I pledged allegiance every day to the Communist Party and the cause of communism. We were taught to honor Chairman Mao as our great leader and redeemer. The name of God was never spoken. I did not hear it until I was an adult. Perhaps it takes someone who has experienced a nation without God in public life to fully appreciate what it means to say, one nation under God. China once spoke of heaven. For centuries, it recognized a moral order above rulers, what it called the mandate of heaven. Even emperors were not ultimate. They ruled under heaven. But in the mid-20th century, when the Communist Party took power, that foundation was torn away and replaced with official atheism. Religious freedom vanished. Churches fell under strict state control. True believers were driven underground. When a society removes God from above it, something else always rises to take his place. In China, that something was the state. Government became the highest authority. State ideology defined truth. People learned to speak carefully, or not at all. Over time, the moral and cultural roots that once held families and communities together were weakened. Now, after 25 years in the United States, I see troubling parallels. Over the past half-century, prayer was removed from our schools. The Ten Commandments were taken off classroom walls. Nativity scenes were challenged in our public squares, and open expressions of faith were marginalized. Meanwhile, new ideologies promise tolerance and equality, yet marginalize Christians, silence dissenters, and dismantle the moral framework that once sustained liberty. As I wrote in Naive Majority, the further a society drifts from truth, the more it resents those who speak it. It is not surprising, then, that the phrase "one nation under God" is under attack. It is challenged in courts, where some argue that saying "under God" violates the Constitution's rule that government cannot create or endorse an official religion. It is mocked in the media, branded as outdated and divisive. It is avoided in classrooms, as if even speaking it were controversial. Some say it excludes non-believers. Some say it moves us toward theocracy. It is time to answer hard questions biblically. It is time to recover the moral foundations that made American liberty possible. If we are going to defend the phrase "one nation under God," we must first understand where it came from. So let's begin with history. The phrase "under God" was added to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. The original pledge was written in 1892 by Francis Bellamy, a Baptist minister. It read, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." But in 1954, during the height of the Cold War, Congress added the words "under God." Why? America faced more than a military threat. The Soviet Union was openly atheistic. Marxism-Leninism did not just ignore God, it denied him. Karl Marx called religion the opium of the people. He meant it was like a drug that dulled pain and kept people from rising up. The communist system treated the state as the highest authority. In communist ideology, the state defines truth. The state defines morality. The state defines rights. The state demands ultimate loyalty. There is no authority higher than government. The results were devastating. Under Stalin, millions died in purges and forced labor camps. Churches were closed. Pastors were imprisoned. Faith was suppressed. American leaders saw something critical. This was not just a political fight. It was a battle of worldviews. Would government be ultimate, or would it answer to something higher? On June 14, 1954, Flag Day, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the bill. He said the change would reaffirm the transcendence of religious faith in America's heritage and future. From this day forward, the millions of our school children will daily proclaim in every city and town, every village and rural schoolhouse, the dedication of our nation and our people to the Almighty. The phrase, "one nation under God," carries meaning in at least 4 important dimensions. It is not ceremonial language. It is theological, political, historical, and moral in its implications. First, biblically, under God means that all human authority is delegated authority. Psalm 33 declares that the Lord rules over the nations. He speaks, and creation stands firm. He frustrates the plans of the peoples. Then comes the clear promise. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord, the people whom he has chosen as his heritage. No nation, leader, or movement stands above him. Second, politically, under God is a statement about the source of rights and the limits of government. It places a ceiling over state power. It affirms that no president, court, or legislature stands above moral law. Liberty survives only when authority is grounded in something higher than human will. Third, historically, one nation under God reflects a long-standing national acknowledgement of God in American public life. From the beginning, the American colonies recognized divine authority. In 1775, the Continental Congress called for a national day of prayer and fasting, urging the people to seek God's guidance as they faced war with Britain. The Declaration of Independence in 1776 did not appeal to Parliament. It appealed to the laws of nature and of nature's God. It declared that rights come from a creator, not from kings. The Northwest Ordinance of 1787 affirmed that religion and morality are necessary for good government. Throughout American history, presidents have proclaimed national days of prayer, and Congress has opened its sessions in prayer. There are moments many believers recognize as providential. A young and under-resourced nation defeated the most powerful empire of its time. The country expanded across a vast continent. It experienced extraordinary growth in innovation, prosperity, and global influence. In war, expansion, and development, many Americans have long believed the hand of God was at work. Finally, morally and culturally, for most of American history, Christianity has been the majority faith of the nation. Biblical ideas shaped its moral language, its laws, and its understanding of human dignity. A nation cannot remain free if it forgets the source of its moral order. When a society pushes God aside, power fills the vacuum, often in the form of the state, ideology, or unchecked human sin. Under God reminds both citizens and leaders that right and wrong are not decided by popular opinion. Truth does not change just because a majority votes on it, and government cannot create morality. It calls a nation to humility before God, to turn from sin and to live with responsibility. America's history testifies to the truth of Psalm 33. Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. One nation under God is not a slogan, it is the foundation of ordered liberty. This Bible study is about preparing us to respond wisely to the real questions people are asking. If we are going to defend the phrase "one nation under God," we must understand the concerns behind the objections. So let's slow down and walk through 2 common questions together. Question 1. Does one nation under God violate the separation of church and state? Many people sincerely believe that it does. They have been told that any mention of God in public life automatically violates the Constitution. That assumption deserves careful examination. First, what does separation of church and state actually mean? The phrase itself does not appear in the Constitution. It comes from a letter Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1802 to the Danbury Baptist Association, assuring them that the First Amendment protects the church from government control. Many early settlers, including the Pilgrims, fled Europe to escape government-enforced religion and persecution. Freedom to worship without government interference was a natural right the founders sought to protect. The First Amendment states, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof." In simple terms, it protects 2 things. The government cannot create a national church, and it cannot prevent people from practicing their faith. The purpose was to protect religious freedom, not to remove every reference to God from public life. So here's the key question. Is acknowledging moral accountability the same as establishing a religion? Establishing a religion would mean the state officially supports one church and forces people to follow it. The founders clearly rejected that. But recognizing that rights come from a higher authority than government is something different. When Americans say one nation under God, they are not creating a state church. They are affirming that government is not the highest authority. Under God does not expand government power. It limits it. Question 2. Does one nation under God marginalize non-believers? Some people feel that it does. They hear the phrase and wonder whether it excludes them. That concern should not be dismissed lightly. So what is the phrase actually claiming? It does not require anyone to believe in God. It does not establish Christianity as a national religion. It does not remove rights from atheists or from people of other faiths. Instead, it makes a structural claim. Government is not ultimate. The Declaration of Independence says our rights are endowed by a creator. That language does not force belief. It establishes a foundation for liberty. If rights come only from government, then government can redefine or remove them. But if rights come from a higher source, then government is restrained. In that sense, this principle protects non-believers as much as believers. History shows that when the state claims ultimate authority, minority voices often suffer. But when leaders are understood to answer to standards beyond themselves, conscience is protected. The Pledge of Allegiance itself is voluntary. No one can be forced to recite it. Freedom of conscience remains intact. So perhaps the better question is this: is under God about exclusion, or is it about limiting power? Now consider this. If someone raised one of these objections in conversation, how would you respond? Not defensively, but thoughtfully. Not angrily, but clearly. That is why we are here. We must be ready. To summarize, one nation under God was added to the Pledge of Allegiance by President Eisenhower and Congress in 1954 during the Cold War. It was a clear declaration that America would not bow to atheistic communism. It affirmed that this nation stands under Almighty God. Now, as we approach our nation's 250th anniversary, we face serious challenges once again. Hostility toward biblical truth is rising. Communist ideology is resurfacing in new forms. Morality is declining. Churches are either silent or compromised by the culture instead of shaping it. The question is urgent. Will we call upon God's name? Will we humble ourselves? Will we turn from our wicked ways and seek His truth? One nation under God is a call to repentance. It is a call to moral courage. It is a call to reclaim the biblical foundation that once anchored our liberty. It is time once again to dedicate ourselves and our nation under God's authority and humbly seek His blessing.